Alright folks, Joshua here, and let me tell you, I've seen my fair share of, well, let's call it previously cherished material. And a lot of it, if you know what you're doing, is basically money lying around waiting to be picked up. That's why I'm here today. Welcome to our guide on how to scrap metal the right way and fast. We're not talking about some get-rich-quick scheme here. This is about good old-fashioned effort meeting smart strategy. It's about understanding the value in what others might just see as junk. And believe me, there's a surprising amount of value out there if you're willing to get your hands a little dirty. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Scrap metal, isn't that just for, well, other people? And maybe it is. Or maybe you're looking for a way to clear out that garage, make a few extra bucks, or even start a decent side hustle. If you're looking to turn your scrap into cash, you've come to the right place. I've spent enough time wading through the muck and mire to know that doing things properly from the get-go saves you a world of headache and, frankly, makes you more money. It's not always glamorous, I'll give you that, but there's a certain satisfaction in it. So stick with me. We're going to walk through this step by step, from figuring out what gear you need so you don't lose a finger, to actually getting paid for your haul. This isn't rocket science, but there are definitely tricks to the trade. Little things that separate the amateurs from the folks who actually make a decent return on their time and effort. We're going to cover the essentials, the stuff that really matters, so you can get out there and start making that pile of discarded metal work for, instead of just taking up space. Let's get to it. Alright, before you even think about touching that first piece of rusty rebar or tangled copper wire, we need to talk about something crucial: keeping all your bits and pieces attached to your body. I'm talking about safety gear. Now, I know some of you are tough guys. You think a little scratch or a poke in the eye is a badge of honor. Let me tell you, from experience, an emergency room visit is a lot more expensive than a good pair of gloves and some decent eye protection. So, first on your list, heavy-duty gloves. Not those flimsy gardening things. I mean something that can take a beating from sharp edges, jagged metal, and whatever else is lurking in that pile. Think thick leather or reinforced synthetics. Your hands are your moneymakers in this game. Protect them. Next up, your eyes. You've only got two, and metal has a nasty habit of splintering, flinging off shards, or just generally trying to blind you when you least expect it. A good pair of safety goggles, the kind that wrap around and seal pretty well, or at the very least some sturdy safety glasses with side shields, are non-negotiable. Don't just perch them on your forehead like a fashion accessory. Wear them, every single time. And while we're at it, consider some long sleeves and sturdy pants. Even if it's warm out, metal rash is a real thing, and so are cuts and scrapes that can get nasty if they're full of grime and who knows what. A tetanus shot up to date isn't a bad idea either, just saying. And then there are the tools. We're not talking about a full mechanics workshop here, at least not to start, but a good magnet is your best friend. We'll get into why later. Some sturdy buckets or containers. Maybe a pry bar for separating things, wire cutters, perhaps a reciprocating saw if you plan on breaking down larger items. But make sure you know how to use it safely. The key is having the tools for what you're tackling. Don't try to make do with something flimsy that's going to break, or worse, cause an accident. Invest a little up front in decent gear. It'll pay for itself in safety, efficiency, and frankly, your sanity. This isn't about looking the part, it's about working smart and staying in one piece. Okay, so you're geared up, you look like you're ready to tackle a small demolition job. Now comes the part where a little bit of knowledge can make a big difference in your pocket: sorting your metals. You see, not all metal is created equal in the eyes of the scrapyard. The big primary distinction you need to make is between ferrous and non-ferrous metals. Ferrous, fancy word I know, basically means it contains iron. And the easiest way to tell? Your trusty magnet. If the magnet sticks, it's ferrous. Think steel, iron, that sort of thing. This stuff is common, usually heavier, but generally fetches a lower price per pound. Old appliances, car parts, structural steel, that's your bread and butter for ferrous. Now, the stuff that makes your magnet shrug its shoulders and slide right off, that's your non-ferrous category. And this is often where the better money is. We're talking copper, brass, aluminum, stainless steel. Some grades are non-magnetic or weakly magnetic, so it gets a bit nuanced. Lead and zinc. Copper pipes, electrical wiring. You'll need to strip it, but we'll get to that. Brass fittings, aluminum cans, window frames, car radiators, these are your non-ferrous treasures. Because they're more valuable, scrapyards pay significantly more per pound for these. So, taking the time to separate them out is absolutely critical if you want to maximize your profit. Don't just throw it all in one pile. You're literally throwing money away. Think of it like this. You wouldn't mix your recyclables at home, right? You separate paper from plastic from glass because they all have different values and processing needs. It's the exact same principle here, just a bit dirtier and potentially more lucrative. Get yourself a few designated bins or areas. One for steel and iron, one for aluminum, one for copper and brass, and so on. The more you can segregate, the easier it is for the scrap yard, and the more accurately they can weigh and pay you for each type. It takes a little extra time on your end, no doubt about it, but the payoff when you get to the scales makes it well worth the effort. This is where you start working smarter, not just harder. All right, you've got your piles sorted, looking like a metallic rainbow of potential profit. But hold your horses before you load up the truck. There's another step that the pros know, and the amateurs often skip, much to the detriment of their wallets: cleaning your metals. Now, I'm not talking about getting out the soap and water and scrubbing them till they shine like new. We're talking about removing anything that isn't metal, or anything that contaminates the specific type of metal you're trying to sell. Scrap yards buy metal, not plastic, not rubber, not wood, not excessive dirt or grease. The cleaner your metal, the better the grade, and the better the price you're going to get. Think about an old appliance, say a washing machine. It's mostly steel, sure, but it's also got a plastic agitator, rubber hoses, a concrete counterweight, and an electric motor that contains copper. If you just heave the whole thing onto the Ferris pile, you'll get paid for unclean or shred steel, which is the lowest price. But if you take a few minutes to strip off the hoses, cut out the wiring, maybe even pull the motor, which you can then sell separately for its copper content, you've suddenly upgraded that steel to a cleaner, more valuable category. It's about maximizing the purity of each material you're selling. The same goes for something like insulated copper wire. If you sell it with the plastic insulation still on, you'll get a certain price. But if you take the time to strip that insulation off, and there are tools for this, from simple wire strippers to more elaborate setups if you're doing volume, that bright, shiny copper underneath is worth significantly more. Or consider aluminum extrusions, like window frames. They often have steel screws, plastic weather stripping, or glass still attached. Pop those screws out, pull off the plastic, remove the glass. It might seem tedious, but every bit of non-metal material you remove increases the value of the metal itself. It's that attention to detail that adds up. It's work, no doubt, but it's profitable work. So, you've done the hard yards, you've gathered, you've sorted, you've cleaned. Your piles of metal are looking pretty respectable, and you're starting to see dollar signs. Now comes a crucial step: finding a good, reputable scrapyard. Because let me tell you, not all scrapyards are created equal. Just like any business, you've got the good, the bad, and the ones that'll try to take you for a ride if you're not careful. Your goal is to find a place that offers fair prices, has transparent practices, and treats you with a bit of respect for the effort you've put in. After all, you're bringing them valuable commodities. First things first, do a little homework. Don't just drive to the closest yard without a second thought. Hop online, search for scrap yards in your area, and look for reviews. See what other folks are saying about their experiences. Are they known for fair weights? Do they update their prices regularly? Metal prices fluctuate, sometimes daily, based on market conditions. So a good yard will be transparent about this. Maybe even give a few of them a call. Ask what they're currently paying for, say, clean #1 copper or light iron. Get a feel for their customer service over the phone. Do they sound like they know what they're talking about, or are they cagey and unhelpful? When you visit a yard, pay attention. Are the scales visible and certified? A certified scale means it's been checked for accuracy by the state or a governing body, which is a good sign. How do they grade your material? Do they explain why they might be downgrading something, or do they just give you a price with no explanation? A good yard will often be happy to educate you a bit, especially if you show you're serious about doing things right. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you have a significant amount, it sometimes doesn't hurt to get quotes from a couple of different yards if that's feasible. Building a relationship with a good, honest yard can be a real asset in the long run, especially if you plan on doing this regularly. They'll get to know you, you'll understand their system, and it makes the whole process smoother. You've done all the prep work, you've identified a reputable scrapyard, and now it's time for the grand finale, getting your hard-earned metal to the buyer. Transporting your scrap might seem like the simplest part, just throw it in the truck and go, right? Well, not so fast. Doing this safely and efficiently is just as important as any other step. First off, think about how you're containing it. Loose scrap metal in the back of a pickup truck is an accident waiting to happen. Sharp edges can damage your vehicle, and worse, items can fly out and become dangerous projectiles on the road. Nobody wants to be responsible for causing an accident or littering the highway with rusty metal. So use proper containers. Heavy-duty plastic totes, strong wooden crates, or even 55-gallon drums. Clean ones, of course, can work well for smaller, denser items like brass fittings or stripped copper. For larger, bulkier items like appliances or long pieces of steel, you need to make sure they are securely strapped down. Ratchet straps are your friends here, and plenty of them. Don't overload your vehicle either. Check your vehicle's weight limits. Metal is heavy, surprisingly so, and an overloaded truck or trailer is unsafe, illegal, and puts a massive strain on your suspension, brakes, and tires. It's just not worth the risk for an extra few pounds of scrap. And when you're loading, try to keep your sorted metals separate if possible, or at least load them in a way that makes unloading and weighing at the scrapyard easy. If you've got your copper in one bin, aluminum in another, and steel in a pile, make sure the yard staff can easily access each type. This speeds up the process for everyone. And a final thought on safety during transport: wear your gloves when loading and unloading. Even if you think you've handled every piece, new sharp edges can appear or things can shift. Secure your load properly, drive carefully, and be mindful. Getting your scrap there in one piece, and yourself too, is the final, crucial step to turning all that hard work into actual cash in your hand. Well, there you have it. From spotting potential treasure in a pile of so-called junk to gearing up, sorting, cleaning, finding a good yard, and finally hauling it in. It's a process, no doubt about it. It takes effort, a bit of know-how, and yeah, you're probably going to get a little dirty. But as I've always said, there's dignity in all kinds of work, especially the kind that takes something discarded and gives it new life, new value. And let's be honest, putting a little extra cash in your pocket while you're at it doesn't hurt either. This is about being resourceful, about seeing opportunity where others just see a mess. Remember, the key takeaways are safety first. Don't skimp on good gear. Sort your metals meticulously. That's where you really boost your payout. Clean your metals, because purity equals profit, and do your homework to find a reputable scrapyard that will treat you fair. It's not just about brute force. It's about working smart, understanding the materials, and respecting the process. You're not just moving metal. You're participating in a massive recycling effort that's good for the planet and good for your wallet. So, I hope this guide has given you the confidence and the knowledge to get started, or maybe to refine what you're already doing. Thanks for watching. Click below to purchase the tools you need to start scrapping metal the right way and fast. And hey, if you found this useful, do us a favor. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips and tricks. Now get out there, be safe, and turn that scrap into something worthwhile.